Hey, Assalamu alaikum. This is like the third time I've tried to record this. YouTube's being a haram Bobby, but whatever. Inshallah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about labels and talk about deveiling. This phrase that's been coined talking about uh, Muslim women who used to wear hijab who later on took it off. And there's like this really great NPR piece that about 12 women who took off hijab. I like it. Muslims might find it offensive or often find it really hard to talk about um, because I don't know. And so I liked it because there was like 12 women and they giving like their own unique perspectives and the issues that they have to deal with. And oftentimes I think that the Muslim community is kind of scared to talk about these sorts of issues or they just don't know how to bring it up. So these are just my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. That's completely fine, but whatever. And I so not only were there like 12 women and not just two women representing all these Muslims, but there were 12 women, and a lot of the issues that they brought up I think are really important. I think that everyone deals with them, or at least the Muslim women have to deal with them, whether you're hijabi or not. And it seems, and a lot of their concerns and the issues that they have to deal with are issues that I also have to deal with as an American Muslim woman who wears hijab. And it seems that there are two types of prejudices that they dealt with, and I don't know, all still have to kind of deal with. And one is from the Muslims, and they were talking about how oftentimes they felt pressured by Muslims to act or seem a certain way, and I've definitely felt that pressure too. When I was younger, like in middle school and high school, I used to operate like a robot, and it made me incredibly unhappy. And I thought that was like the best way I could service Islam and service Muslims was by being a perfect person or whatever. And it took me a while to realize that the best Muslim I could be, the best form of worship I could do, the best form of dawah was just by being myself, by being a human being, and by learning to laugh and have fun and play pranks. So that was my first learning experience. And so I think that these unrealistic expectations of Muslim women to become billboards is unfair, and it's a humongous onus to put on basically only the women in your community, and hypocritically so. And human beings are just human beings, whether they're women or whether they're male or whether they're, I don't know, trans or anything in between or outside, whatever. So that's one issue. And I think that, for instance, I don't know, I feel like Malaysia does a good job. There's this one singer called Yuna. She is a Malaysian guitarist, singer who happens to be a hijabi. And she just does what she, does while wearing hijab, and I think that's really cool, and she's really inspirational to me. Um, and so then there's also, I guess, the prejudice from non-Muslims, and that is a big mushkila. Oh. So the prejudice from non-Muslims, there's like a lot of microaggressions. Sometimes people say things harmlessly, and but they're really indicative of larger prejudices and larger mentalities. And yeah, I mean, it's just really hard to deal with all the time. For instance, I live in a really liberal area of the United States. Since I go to school here, and there's like 5 other schools, and I often take the bus system. And within 4 years, I can count on one hand how many times a white male, or even people in general, just sit next to me. Even if there are no seats on the bus, people would rather stand up for the whole bus ride, for like a 45-minute bus ride, than sit next to me. And even if there are people who sit next to me, like I remember last month there's this white guy who just came from Walmart and had all this, all these luggages, and had like bags full of things. And even though he had sat next to me, and believe me, I was shocked, he he had his butt like off the seat almost, you know, because he had been leaning forward, like outside, like as far as he could away from me. And as soon as there was like a seat in the back of the bus, he sprinted towards it with all of his bags. I don't know how he did it, but it was skills. But it is just, I don't know. It's like, I guess when I walk around, people think like, I don't know, I'm carrying a bomb underneath this or something like that. And believe me, if I wanted to like blow up a bus, it wouldn't matter if he sat next to me or behind me. Like, seriously. Okay, lame joke, but whatever. Um, so things like that is really hurtful, and it gets really tiring. And so it took me a while to realize that everyone has their labels to deal with, and that my Asian friends are not able to take off their faces, and my black friends will never be able to take off their skin color. Not that they like necessarily want to, but those always have labels. And for instance, if you have white privilege, it means that you don't necessarily have to think of those labels since you're the majority here in America. But the thing is that you too, if you're white, have to deal with labels, at least in my opinion. I mean, that's how you build solidarity is by your label. Like, let's say if you're white, your label would probably be, I don't know, Fox News and the KK. Go to other countries, cowboys, I don't know, things like that. And those are things that you can choose or not choose to depack and to defend. And so sometimes your labels choose you, and sometimes you choose your labels. And you can redefine them if you'd like, or you can leave them be. And learning that and realizing that really empowered me. And so I don't know, I guess I just wanted to put it out there. So, yeah. Thanks if you're still listening. Inshallah, this was helpful.